Yes, good afternoon, Ruchi Singh ma'am. Come on, good afternoon all. Let us see the environment class, especially the climatology. I mean the climate change. The climate change class we discussed. We started in the last class. We came to certain extent up to the Paris summit. Then what next? What is going to happen in the next one? Let us see this one. Live chat. Come on, let us see the prompter. Prompter is the response portal is the old response portal is there. You please connect the new response portal. Come on, by the time I will get the response portal, let us see this one. Come on, what we discussed in the previous class, we started with the structure like UNEP has taken birth. Along with the UNEP, the World Meteorological Organization, both they gave birth for IPCC. IPCC is interested for submitting the reports called as ARs, nothing but the assessment reports. There are altogether 5 assessment reports were submitted along with 3 special reports that were submitted. What the first AR 1990 has given, it has asked for the world summit which is called as the Earth Summit. Let me give the quick recap what we discussed in the previous class. Come on, check this one. This structure needs to get imbibed in the mind. What happened in the past? Though at present the questions may not be there, but the related topics can be there. Okay, very good. Now the response portal is there. All you people are here. Wonderful. Too good. All you are responding. So good. Now come on. This is the first one where the Earth Summit. Again, I am just in a quick recap. Another 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, I will be giving the entire gist of what we have discussed in the previous class. Here, the birth of 3 organizations take place. Then UNCCD. These 3 have taken place. No need to go for this one. Now we need to talk about UNFCCC. What happened to this UNFCCC? In the year 1995, the AR2 has taken place. UNFCCC has gone for Kyoto Protocol. What is Kyoto Protocol? Where it has divided the country into 2 parts, annex and non-annex. Annex are given the burden. What is the burden? They need to control the greenhouse gases emission, which is otherwise called as the principle of equity. The polluter must pay. Common but differential responsibility. Then in the year 2000, assessment report number 3 was introduced. In the year 2000, assessment number 3 was introduced, where this assessment report talked about ratification, also flexible market mechanism. As these developed countries are not willing to go for the controlling of the GHG, therefore flexible market mechanism were kept. The targets. What was the target? The target under this one, 5% of 1990 levels were given. And in the year 2007, AR number 4 was released. It talked about Kyoto Protocol 2. It talked about the Kyoto Protocol 2 with the time period 2013 to 2020. And what was the target given in under this 13 Kyoto Protocol? What was the target? The target was given 18% of 1990 emissions. This was the target. The first target was 5% of 1990 level, then it has enhanced the 18% of 1990 levels. When the first target itself didn't achieve properly, the second target doesn't make any sense, but the target should be there and therefore the target was kept. This is about the second target of Kyoto Protocol. After this one, in the year 2013-2014, assessment report number 5 got released, where it gave way for Paris Agreement. It gave a very great way for the Paris Agreement. What the Paris Agreement talks about? It talked about let there be an agreement, not a protocol, so that all the world countries can agree on certain conditions. All the people needs to participate in the climate change summit. Therefore, they talked about INDC. What is INDC? Intended, nationally determined contribution. What do you mean by INDC? Each and every country has to come out voluntarily. Instead of Kyoto Protocol selecting this country needs to reduce the greenhouse gases. Now all the countries, whenever they are coming voluntarily and they are contributing the climate change. This is called as INDC. It's called as intended, nationally determined contribution. This is where we have stopped, where it gave way for the Paris Agreement. In the year 2015, the Paris Agreement took place. Paris Agreement took place. Let me show all these things in the form of a PPT. See this one. Whatever we have discussed in the previous class, all they are given in the form of a slides. Let you see the slides. Now you can understand what is the importance of all these things. I have taken important clue points and I have given this one, so that it will be there for you as a ready reference. Come on, let us see this one. IPCC and the conventions. See this one, the first one, the birth of IPCC. How the birth of IPCC? UNEP along with the World Meteorological Organization in the year 1988 has gone for one very important scientific body which is called as IPCC. Then structure. See the structure of the IPCC. It is having a plenary and a secretariat. Where the secretariat is there in the Switzerland. It is having three working groups. And one task force. What are the three working groups? This is a technicality. No need to go into this technicality. This working group which is working on the technical support which is there in the UK. Then working group on impact and adaptation in the USA is working on mitigation, how to reduce the climatic impacts. It is there in the Netherlands. And the technical force is there, nothing but the task force on the national greenhouse gases inventory. It is there in the Japan. Then first assessment report. What the first assessment talks about? It talks about the global international or global cooperation. It required international cooperation. Because this one, what happened? UNCED, Convention on Combating Desertification, has taken place. United Nations Convention on Combating, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development has taken place. UNCED has taken birth. In the UNCED, where it is popularly called as Rio Earth Summit, it is popularly called as Rio Earth Summit. And then comes to the second Kyoto Protocol. Second assessment report which talks about the Kyoto Protocol. This is the second one. Then the third one, the third assessment report talks about what is called as the impacts of climate change and need for the adaptation. This is the third protocol, means what, third assessment report. The third assessment report talks about the ratification process of Kyoto Protocol. After the ratification, it talks about how best we can tame the world countries so that they can control the global greenhouse gases under the Kyoto Protocol, where it is called as a flexible market mechanism. All these things were given here. Then the fourth assessment report. In the fourth assessment report, the people talked about the post-Kyoto. What should be there after the Kyoto? Because the Kyoto Protocol gets ceases by 2012, then what next? Then they have in the region called as Durban, there was a committee which is called as ADP, Ad hoc Durban Platform. In the Ad hoc Durban Platform, the people have taken a decision to go for extending the life of Kyoto Protocol. After the extension of the life of the Kyoto Protocol between 2013 to 2020, now they gave a target as 18% of 1990 levels. Then comes to the fifth assessment report. What the fifth assessment report talks about, what next means what, in the Paris Agreement what needs to be done. Then there was an agreement which talks about what is called as INDC, a very important one. What is INDC? Intended nationally determined contributions. Instead of someone is giving as a condition to the world countries to control the greenhouse gases, let us go for the voluntarily cuts. Whenever you are going for the voluntary cuts, then there won't be any burden on the respective country. When all the countries are participating, then there won't be any hiccups for other developed countries like USA, where USA will also be satisfied. Therefore, the agreement came out with the INDC. This is the development that took place in the fifth assessment report. When the fifth assessment report was released, then IPCC was asked by UNFCCC. In the Paris Agreement, when the Paris Agreement is going on, what was the target that was kept in the Paris Agreement? Reduce the temperatures, global temperature. The global temperature should not be allowed to rise more than 2 degrees centigrade. What is the target that was given in the Paris Agreement? While discussing the Paris Summit, in the Paris Summit, the target was fixed. What was the target? Let us not allow the global temperature. Let us not allow the global temperature beyond 2 degrees centigrade by 2100. This is the target. Not only this one, and the world countries, they have added one more point to this one. We will try to keep the temperature of the globe below means what? Around 1.5 degrees centigrade by 2100. What is a mandatory condition? This is a mandatory condition, but they also gave a new hope to the world people, saying that we will try our level best to keep the global temperatures by 1.5 degrees centigrade itself. Why? Because with the present increase of the temperature, what is the present increase of the temperature? 1.1 degree of temperature already has risen. By the time it is 2020, how much of global temperatures was already risen? 1.1 degree centigrade. Whenever the 1.1 degree of temperature has risen, we are witnessing so many devastations because of just 1.1. What happens if the global temperature reaches 2 degrees centigrade? This is a $1 million question, and everyone was very much scared. Therefore, they said that let us try to control this global temperature not to reach 2 degrees centigrade but below 1.5 degrees centigrade. This is only a try. When this is happening, at that point of time, UNFCCC approached IPCC unrequested. Pay attention, very important. UNFCCC approached IPCC and requested, IPCC, please stop giving the assessment reports for the time being. Let you produce a special report exclusively talking on the atmospheric impacts lithological impacts and the hydrological impacts. Why? Because what are the three very spheres impacting the biosphere? It is atmosphere, where the climate change is related to the manipulation of the gases here in this area, in this sphere. This particular manipulation of the gases, the change or the composition of the gases, when they have changed there in the atmosphere, it is having an impact on nothing but land sphere. It is not only having the impact on the land, also it is having an impact on the water. Therefore, IPCC was requested by UNFCCC saying that let you give a special report. What that special report? The special report should talk about land. Impacts of the changes of the gas composition in the atmosphere on the land. Let you give a special report. Then special report on impacts of changes of the gases composition in the atmosphere on the ocean. Oceans, not only on the oceans, even on the glaciers, where it is called as cryosphere. Not only these two reports, you please even provide the report which is a special exclusive report on what should be the temperatural goal, means what? The temperature by 2100, whether it should be the goal of 1.5 degrees centigrade or 2 degrees centigrade. Because in the Paris Agreement, the people are, even the scientific community is talking to try to keep the global temperature at 1.5 degrees centigrade. You IPCC, the special body where you are the technical team, you please come up with a special report. Let us talk more about what should be the temperature limit by 2100, whether it should be 1.5 or 2 degrees centigrade. You give a special report to the world countries. Also, what should be what is the impact of the changes in the gases composition which is leading to climate change on the land, the changes in the composition of the gases in the atmosphere on the ocean and the cryosphere. This is a special request made by UNFCCC on these three spheres to IPCC. Then IPCC came up with the special reports. What are the special reports? See the special reports. The special reports which are exclusively talking about the atmosphere, lithosphere, oceanosphere, nothing but hydrosphere, where there is special reports exclusively on the impacts on these spheres. See the first report. The first of these special reports, what is the name of the special report? Global warming of 1.5 degrees centigrade. The name of the report itself is the global warming of 1.5. Whenever the temperatures are reaching to 1.5 degrees centigrade, the devastation, whatever needs to happen, will be happening. If the temperature rises beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade and if it is reaching 2 degrees centigrade, no need to control or no need to conduct any sun conventions here. If at all you need to control any climate change, let us keep the global temperature to below 1.5 degrees centigrade. This is the report. The report is an eye opener for all the environmentalists, politicians and all the other NGOs also. What is that eye opener? If the global temperature, if at all you are keeping the target of 2 degrees centigrade by 2100, whatever the devastation needs to happen will be happening. There is no point in meeting all we people if the target is 2 degrees centigrade. If at all the target is just 1.5, let us have some discussion, or else no need to control, no need to do any such work here. Let us forget all these things. If the target is 1.5 degrees centigrade, then we will be discussing. Or else, if the target is not 1.5, whatever the devastation needs to happen, will happen like anything. There is no point in discussion. You please control the global temperature but within 1.5 degrees centigrade. This is what the report says. A very, very important eye opener. In fact, this should be called as the eye opener. The special report is a very, very important eye opener for the entire climatic summits. Is that clear? Could you able to understand the importance of the special report? On what three spheres the special reports were requested? On the atmosphere, on the lithosphere, on the hydrosphere. On the atmosphere, the first report was released saying that if at all you want to keep the target of 1.5 degrees centigrade. Don't go for 2 degrees centigrade. If at all you are keeping the target of 2 degrees centigrade, no point in meeting, no point in doing all these things. This is what the 1.5 report. Okay, this is what the 1.5 global warming 1.5 report. Then the second assessment report. What is the second assessment report? The second assessment report, see the title, that very title itself is the special report on climate change on land. Means what? The impacts of the atmosphere on the lithosphere. When the climate change is happening, when the global gases are altering, what type of impacts will be there on the land? What do you mean by on the land? How it is affecting the agricultural systems. How the soil productivity will be altered. When the agriculture is altered, when the soil is altered, when the pH of the soil is altered, then what happens? The crop production will be at stake. When the agriculture is not giving the greater productivity, what will be losing? We will be losing the food security. We will be thrown into the insecurity. Therefore, the people need to talk about the agricultural resilience. Who has given the clue to discuss and to focus more on agriculture resilience? What do you mean by resilience? Resilience is nothing but the coping capacity. If something goes wrong, within what time we can cope up as if nothing has happened. Could understand? If some devastation takes place, within what time we will be recovering? As in the lines of nothing has happened, as we are earlier before the disaster, how it was, on the same condition we need to reach. This is called as resilience. What these people are talking about, anything that goes wrong in the climate change should not impact the life on the surface of the earth. It should not impact the food security on the surface of the earth. Therefore, we need to do certain action. This is what is given here in the land. The land is getting degraded. The land is getting degraded. More and more of the land is getting desertified. Which in turns, see this one, this in turns is talking about what is called as the land, which in turns is talking about combating desertification. Because the land degradation is taking place. The land degradation is taking place. Taking the clue from this special report, UNCCD has kept a target. See the interlinking. Taking the clue from the special report given by IPCC, UNCCD has kept a target. What is the target? To recover back 500 million hectares of degraded land, to recover back 500 million hectares of degraded land by 2030. Within 2030, how much of land which was already degraded needs to recovered? It is 500 million hectares. 350 million hectares between 2020 to 30, whereas 150 million hectares, whereas it is 150 million hectares within 2020. Within 2020. And this challenge, this is being called as, Bonn challenge. Come on, make note of this one. What is a Bonn challenge? Because of the special report. What is the Bonn challenge? Because of the special report given by IPCC on land. Because of the special report given by IPCC on the land, a new challenge called as Bonn challenge came into picture under UNCCD. What is UNCCD? UNCCD is nothing but it is the other organization which is exclusively for combating desertification. Since this is the report which is talking about the land, the impact on land by the climate change, now it is taking the clue. UNCCD is taking the clue. He has taken the clue and it is going for the new challenge called as Bonn challenge. Question can be asked in the UPSC because this is a new one. This is a current related one. And what happened? This particular meeting happened in India in the year 2019. In the year 2019, this world conference held in India at a place called as Noida. Nothing but Delhi, NCR Delhi. In the NCR Delhi, this particular meeting happened, the world conference happened in 2019. And within this one, we have also accepted the Bonn challenge. And our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has given a great statement. We are going to bring back 26 million hectares of land back from the degraded condition. Our contribution out of this 500 million hectares is 26 million hectares. This is what the statement given by Mr. Modi. Could understand? Therefore, this particular statement is very important. This challenge is important. You please jot down there itself. You please jot down there itself. What is the challenge? It's called as Bonn challenge. Where the roots of the Bonn challenge are there? The roots of the Bonn challenge are there in the second report. In between, just you please write down this one. Let me go through one particular question asked by Mr. Rishabh Mishra. But not want to make a non-annexed country self-sufficient, so bring the climate change in reality. Our observation is right. Now see this one. What is the understanding of Mr. Rishabh Mishra? Well, we have gone through all the Kyoto Protocol to Kyoto Paris Summit. Now see this one. What is the statement given by one of our friend? He observed that, see the statement as it is given by Mr. Rishabh. Sir, from Kyoto Protocol to Paris Climate Change Agreement, it seems like world developed countries are running away from their responsibility. Means they are talking about compensation but not want to make the non-annexed countries self-sufficient so they can bring the climate change in reality. Is my observation is right or wrong? Absolutely right. What is the one? What Mr. Rishabh has given? What he observed is, as the developed countries are not taking the responsibility and they are moving away from the climate change. Yes, this is what happening. Why? Because they feel like the reduction of carbon dioxide is nothing but the reduction of economic development. As Mr. Rishabh has observed, what he has seen is, as the developed countries are not willing to go for the climate talk summits. They don't want to bring the climate change onto the terms. Why? Because it is the responsibility of the developed countries, because they are the polluters who needs to bring back the normal conditions. As said by UNFCCC. UNFCCC said that let you people who are called as polluters, you bring back the normalcy. Don't make the other countries take responsibility, but it is you need to bring the normalcy. This is what they said. When they are being pointed out, now these developed countries are talking all other things except controlling the greenhouse gases. They also say that yes, we also are willing to control the greenhouse gas if the earth is getting polluted, if the something is going to happen on the surface of the earth, ultimately the humanity will be at risk. They also talks all these things, but when it comes to the action, whenever they want to control the greenhouse gases, they are not willing, especially the country like USA. But there is a group of country like EU. See, altogether there are 37 countries, right? Altogether there are 37 countries, as I said in the previous class, like annexed countries. Altogether there are some 37 countries. Out of these 37 countries, one of the group is called as EU, where EU is the one which is very much towards the climate change. They want to control the climate change, they want to see all the norms to be controlled, all the rules needs to be in perfect line. Especially the country who is leading the EU is Germany. The Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, she is the one who is behind the success of climate change talks in the annexed countries. Is it clear? Yes. You have observed, right, Mr. Rishabh? This is what is happening, right? Every time there is a tussle between the developed and developing countries. The developed country says that no, it is but natural. However, they have finally accepted, yes, it is not natural, but it is man-made. Now we will be trying to control. Some of the countries fall in line to control the climate change. Some of the countries are yet to fall in line. The best example, USA, yet to fall in line. Maybe in the near future, they will be falling in line and they will be controlling the climate change. Clear? But what is the main reason behind the climate change? It is burning of the fossil fuels. Therefore, we need to stop. We need to stop the use of fossil fuel. Is it clear? Is it okay? Now, take a small pause here. Let me move to some other the latest, very latest development. One of the school of thought, especially from EU, please pay attention. This is the ultra current related. Means what? It happened just 1 month back. 1 month back, when entire world was facing a very great threat of corona, now a report was released by the EU. Listen this one. Just you can connect this one to the climate change also. What is the report? According to EU, European Union, the world is going to witness lack of hydrocarbons within another 3-4 decades. Means what? At the present rate of utilization of the crude oil, natural gas, we are going to see the depletion of these hydrocarbons. Like crude oil is get depleted, natural gas is going to deplete within another 3 or 4 decades, another 30-40 years. Means what? It is 2020. By the time it is 2060 or 2070, we won't find coal, we won't find oil, we won't find natural gas. If at all we are using the fossil fuels on the same scale, then what next? We need to shift to other fuel. What is the next fuel? What is the next fuel according to this report? The next fuel is what is the next fuel? The next fuel is called as lithium. What is the next fuel? The next fuel called as lithium. This is what the next fuel. The entire world is moving towards the lithium battery fuel. Where do you find the lithium on a great scale? There is an area called as lithium triangle. The world reserves of lithium are found in this triangle. What is this area? This is there in South America. It is there in South America. The countries like Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, along with Peru also. This is what called as the lithium triangle, where the 50 to 60% of the world reserves are present here. That is the reason we people, even if you can find in the present context also, in the market, whenever you are seeing this one, all the vehicles, especially the cars, where they are moving to electronic vehicles, electrical vehicles. They are moving to electric vehicles. Means what? Instead of petrol, instead of diesel, now the shift is to electrical vehicles. What is the biggest problem in this electric vehicle is the infrastructure. As if at all a person is moving right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, this fellow will be getting the petrol stations everywhere. So that therefore there is no question of worrying of this fellow. But where is the lithium battery charging station? In India, it is the biggest challenge. Now the government of India is trying to adopt to this condition. In the future, we will be having only the electric vehicles. All the entire energy is from the batteries only. We will be storing the energy in the battery and will be supplying. There is no question of coal, oil or some other things. How to grab this opportunity? This is what the essay that was given by European Union. European Union says that as lithium is not available even in the Europe, it is available only in the trace quantities. How to grab the opportunity? Oil is there in the West Asia. West Asia become very great powerful. Now lithium is there in South America. It is going to be the next superpower. Then what is the next future of Europe? This is what they are worried about. Taking that particular article, one of our Indian economist, he also has talked about this one. Where is lithium available in India? When the government of India has started searching where the lithium is available in India, it is in the state of Karnataka. It is in the state of Karnataka. The lithium reserves are available only in this part of Karnataka. Which is the district? The district is called as Mandya. The Mandya district of Karnataka is having the rich lithium reserves only in this part, no other area where we have discovered. Therefore, the next feature will be on batteries. Then Kyoto Protocol, whatever the summit you are talking about, when the coal itself is not there, when the oil itself is not there. Why? When we say itself is not there means what? By the time that 2060 or 2070 we will be exhausting all the oil. Even though the climate change is talking not to burn the coal, not to burn the oil, now these people will be not burning the coal or oil whenever it is exhausted. Then our earth will be cool. When there is no material to degrade, then it will be okay. This is one part of the one, but don't go into that one. Okay, this is one part of the segment. When it is going to exhaust, that's a different story. There is no such limit to growth. There is a concept called as limit to growth. There is a concept called as limits to growth, but as such there is no limits to growth. What the scientists believe, if one area, if say for example Western Asia, if the oil is depleted, we will be discovering some other area where the oil will be present. So there is no dearth of oil that will be present anywhere. Is it okay? This is what the people are talking about. Is it clear? Fine. Now, the third very important report. Come to the third important report. What is the third important report? It is talking about the special report on ocean, the cryosphere. What is this ocean and cryosphere? What happens to the global poles? 1, 2, 3 poles. What are the 3 poles I have given? One is the Arctic Circle. Another is the Antarctic Circle. The third pole. What is the third pole? The ice caps of all the tallest peaks of the world. What is happening? All they are melting. Therefore, the special report talks about what is the name of the special report? See the name of the special report. Special report on ocean and the cryosphere in the changing climate. The name of the report itself is this one. Ocean and the cryosphere in the changing climate. How it is happening, what is happening on the oceans, What is happening in the oceans? Oceans are acidifying, ocean temperature is increasing. What is the very important link between the rise of temperature in the ocean and the global climate change? Come on, understand this one. In this report, what was highlighted? Global warming induces global warming. See the statement. The statement like global warming induces global warming. This is what they have written. What is the meaning of this one? Global warming induces further global warming. What that means? Pay attention. Very, very important. Keep on writing all these things. Whatever I am telling you, please write. Keep on jotting the points. Suppose if this is the ocean. If this is the ocean. What is the thing that happened in the past in the ocean? Once upon a time, ocean temperature was very high, but as and when the earth got cooled, the ocean body also got cooled. Ocean is the largest sink of carbon dioxide. More the cool temperatures for the oceanic water, it will be storing more and more carbon particles. Ocean is the reservoir of carbon like this. It has absorbed all the carbon elements from the atmosphere and got stored in the inner layers of the ocean, right? When the waters are absorbing the carbon and the carbon was stored in the ocean, why? Because of the cooling nature of the oceanic water. Now what we are doing? On the land, we are constructing the so-called industries and we are polluting this one. When pollution is taking place, global warming is increasing. The temperatures are rising. When the Earth's atmospheric temperatures are rising, what happens ultimately to the water body? The oceanic water also rises in temperature. The moment when the oceanic water rises in temperature, what happens? The ability for the oceanic water to hold the carbon compounds will be less. Because of global warming, the ability of the global oceanic waters to hold the carbon will be less. Therefore, what happens? The carbon will be released. The carbon will be released like this. The carbon will be released. When more carbon is released into the atmosphere, what is the property of the carbon? Property of the carbon is to hold the heat, then it will be holding the heat. When it holds the heat, the temperature further rises. When the temperature further rises, further heating of the water body takes place, further the carbon elements comes out. This is what is happening in a cyclic process. What should not be triggered? The increasing of the oceanic water temperature should not be triggered, but it has already triggered. This is what the report says. Could you understand? These things which are irreplaceable, irrecoverable, these points, what the climatic scientists call it as, they call it as tipping points. What the scientists call them as, they call it as tipping points. What are tipping points? Tipping points are such points in the environment. Once it is lost forever. Once it is triggered, it is continuously changing. We cannot recover back. Say for example, Amazon forest. Once we lost this forest, it is lost forever. Another tipping point is oceanic current movement. Nothing but the oceanic circulations. Once it is altered forever. There is no question of recovering back. These are called as tipping points, as called by the climatologists. Is it clear? The global warming induces global warming. Where it is given? In this report. These are called as the tipping points. Once the oceanic body raises its temperature, the temperature will be rising and further carbon elements will be keep on releasing from the ocean, which will be keep on making the globe further warmer, right? This is about the reports. This is called as the special reports given by the IPCC. After the special reports, what happened? Then UNFCC is talking about the Kyoto Protocol. Now Kyoto Protocol came into picture. This is UNFCC, the structure of UNFCC. How the UNFCC has taken birth? United General Assembly, under these two, World Meteorological Organization, UNEP, both they gave birth for IPCC. IPCC has given birth for UNFCC. It can take directly orders from United Nations General Assembly also, right? This is a structure. Then, who are the member parties? The world got broke into two. This is what I said. Annexed, these two are annexed countries, that is non-annexed countries. What are annexed countries called as? There are two, within the annexed countries there are two groups, Annex 1, Annex 2. Annex 1, developed countries. Annex 2, these are countries, they are mostly OECD countries. Yesterday also I am talking about this one. The Organization for Economic and Economic Cooperation Development. This is what the one, right? This is the OECD country where the funds, technology can be transferred to the developed countries. Funds can be transferred, technology can be transferred by these developed countries to underdeveloping and the developing countries. Now, see this one. Who are there in the next two countries? All the OECD countries? No. Mostly the OECD countries. It's mostly the OECD countries. This is one group. The second group is developing countries. Who are these developing countries? All those countries which are apart from 37 countries. Clear? This is UNCC member countries. Then, what is the COP? It's Conference of Parties. He is the highest decision making body where they are supposed to meet every year. COP meeting was held, first meeting held in Berlin, Germany in the year 1995, where based on assessment report, right? Then COP seat is there in the secretariat is there in the Bonn, Germany again, right? Then what is the difference between the convention and the protocol? See the difference? The convention encourages the industrial countries to stabilize greenhouse gases. They encourages, simply they encourages. But what the protocol talks about? Protocol commits them to do so. This is the difference between the convention and protocol. And then the Kyoto Protocol. Common but differentiated responsibility and respective capabilities. This is what the principle of equity. Then, this is the structure of Kyoto Protocol. What happened? The structure. There are three flexible market mechanisms. See this one. Allowance based, project based. Based on these two, forget about this allowance based and project based. There are three flexible market mechanisms which is given by Kyoto Protocol. To whom? To the annexed countries. What are these three flexible market mechanisms? One is called as joint implementation. Implemented jointly by the two developed countries, where the certificates are called as ERUs. See, all these things are given in a very clear fashion. In fact, what is the source? All the source is UNFCC. If at all you are opening the site of UNFCC, IPCC, you will be flooded with the information. No need to go into all the flood of the information. If you are jumping into the flood, you will be washed away somewhere. I have collected the key aspects and I have given here. Clear? Then CBD. What is CBD certificates? They are called as CRUs, otherwise called as CREs. CREs or CRUs. Then this is called as the carbon trading, otherwise called as emission trading. Emission trading, carbon trading. For the first time, carbon became a commodity. What are the certificates called as? Assigned amount units, AAUs. This is the structure of Kyoto Protocol. This is the carbon rating. What is the one? Assigned amount units. How they will be traded? They will be traded as the people are trading in the stock exchange. This is called as the carbon trading mechanism. For the first time, carbon became a commodity to be purchased and sold. This is called as carbon mechanism, right? Then after this one, clean development mechanism. In the clean development mechanism, what happens? A developed country which is having a burden of Kyoto Protocol will be approaching the developing country and they will be working in group to give certain certificates to the developed countries, because the developed country has invested something in the developing countries. This is called as clean development mechanism. The certificates are called as carbon reduction units or certified emission reductions. Either it is CERs or CRUs. This is about clean development mechanism. The next one is called as joint implementation, where two parties will be jointly cooperating. Which two parties? The two annexed countries, they will be jointly working together and they will be effectively performing the Kyoto Protocol norms. This is called as joint implementation. What are the certificates? They are called as ERUs. All they are given in a very prescribed manner. Then, what are the Kyoto Protocol commitment periods? There are two. One is 2008 to 2012, 5% of 1990 levels. Then the Kyoto Protocol 2, right from 2013 to 2020, how much? 18% of 1990 levels. Within this time period, what should be drafted? An agreement should be drafted where that agreement should be acceptable by all the world countries. All the world countries has to accept the agreement and finally the agreement needs to be implemented. In order to bring the consensus among all the countries, what was the term that was brought? INDC. You come out with the voluntary commitments, how much you can reduce. And Kyoto Protocol as our UNFCCC, I am not giving any burden to any country. Let you come out with your commitments, how much you can reduce the greenhouse gases in the entire world countries. This is called as the commitment period. This is regarding the America, what happened in America and when the America started entering into this one, when it has become an active participant, when it started moving out of this summit. All this is about. In 2011, the European Union, the major developing country and the most African Pacific island nations declared that they would like to see the Kyoto Protocol extended. See this one? This is a key decision that has taken here. Then Durban platform. Because of the extension principle means what? When the EU started asking for the extension of Kyoto Protocol, then in the Durban summit, what happened? The Kyoto Protocol was extended. In the decision was taken in the Durban summit, which is called as ADP, Ad hoc Durban platform. The decision to extend the Kyoto Protocol was taken here, and finally, see the Durban platform, it has taken the decision to extend the Kyoto Protocol, and finally in the Doha, what happened? The extension of the Kyoto Protocol was made. The second commitment period starts from 1st Jan 2013 to 31st December 2020. This is what happened. In between there is a fund called as Green Fund. What is the Green Fund? The Green Fund is the one where the developed countries has to give some of the funds to the developing countries to resilience, to mitigate the climate change. Then COP19. COP19, could you able to see the other term that is present there? CMP. Could you able to see the CMP? From where the CMPs are coming? See this one, CMP. What is this CMP? This is the conference of member parties for the Kyoto Protocol. It is for the Kyoto Protocol. Right from Kyoto Protocol, how many meetings have happened with respect to the discussion of Kyoto Protocol? This is regarding the Kyoto Protocol. Then, in the Durban platform, what are the terms that were discussed? The terms that were discussed are the Green Climate Fund, then long-term finance, then READ plus. What are all these things? Will be coming across. READ plus, the mechanism of loss and damage. I will be giving all these things at once, right? All you keep on seeing these things. We will be discussing all those things, like what do you mean by loss and damage and all these things. Then The next happened was Lima Summit in the year 2014. After the Lima Summit 2014, the very important summit which is called as COP21, which is called as Paris Agreement. Yes, this one. COP21. See this one. COP, Conference of Parties 21. These are the continuous meetings that are happening. What is CMP? It is the one which is with respect to Kyoto Protocol. After this one, the next one comes from the Paris Summit. This is the first Paris Summit. The next summit will be called as CMA1. Is CMP, there it comes the with respect to what are the developments that have taken place with respect to Paris Agreement, that is called as CMA1. What are the aspects that are present in the Paris? Come on, let us see the Paris Agreement. What are the developments that were observed in the Paris Agreement? Long-term temperature goal, global peaking on, climate neutrality. What do you mean by climate neutrality? What do you mean by climate neutrality? The climate should not be changed. Whatever the things that happen, the climate should be one and the same. There should not be any increase of temperature or decrease of temperature. This is called as climatic neutrality. Mitigation, sinks and reservoirs. What do you mean by sinks and reservoirs? Nothing but the carbon sinks. How to sequestrate the carbon. This is about the sinks and reservoirs. Adaptation, loss and damage, finance, technology, capability, transparency, global stock take. All these terms are important. We will be seeing each and every term. Wherever it comes, like global stock take. What is the global stock take? Where it has came into picture. In which summit this was talked extensively. We'll be coming to this one. Then, now see here, CMA1. What is the CMA1? After the Paris Agreement, the first meeting that was held, which is with respect to Paris Agreement. This is with respect to Kyoto Protocol. These are the general meetings. No need to get confused, right? CMP, CMA. CMP is with respect to Kyoto Protocol. CMA is with respect to Paris Agreement, right? Then Marrakesh, the summit after Paris Agreement, the first summit that was happened was the Marrakesh Summit. See this one. This is the first meeting of the parties of the CMA is the first meeting of the parties for the Paris Agreement. What was called here? This is called as Agricultural COP or Action COP. This is called as Agricultural COP or Action COP. Just now we talked about the agriculture. Whatever the climate change happens, there should not be any effect on agriculture. This is what the people have discussed. Therefore, the COP22 talks about the agriculture. This is promoted by Food Agriculture Organization along with the various governments, especially African countries. Then, after this one, there was a very great development that has happened called as International Solar Alliance. The countries which are located between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, they started forming a group. Why? Because these are the areas where you can find the high amount of solar insolation. These countries can have the potential to produce more solar energy. Therefore, all they came under one umbrella called as ISA, proposed by the government of India along with the French government. Both the rulers of both the leaders of India and France, they came up with a proposal called as International Solar Alliance. This is what the International Solar Alliance. Those countries which are located between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, they will be forming the group for exploitation of solar energy to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. Where is the headquarters? Headquarters for the Solar Alliance is in India at a place called as Gurgaon, Haryana, right? Then COP23 at a place called as Bonn. After the Paris, the first was Marrakesh, then second is Bonn, Germany. In this Bonn, Germany summit, what happened? In fact, it is the one where it is chaired by Fiji, the small islandic group called as Fiji. The Fiji president was the chairman. As Fiji is a small island where it cannot host all the world leaders in its island, therefore, though the chairman is Fiji, though the summit is conducted by the Fiji, but the geographical area is not Fiji. The geographical area is Germany, Bonn. In this one, what happened? For the first time, a small islandic president is the one who acted as a chairman. What was the questions raised here? Where are we? Where do we want to go? How do we get there? These are the key structures that are present in the COP23. As per COP23 decision, it has been structured around 3 questions. To arrive to answers with consensus, you can make use of all these things in the mains part. Right? Then, after the Bonn, within the Bonn Convention, the very important one is called as Talanoa Agreement. Not only Talanoa Agreement, what is this Talanoa Agreement? We will be discussing. What is this Talanoa Agreement? Where it has taken birth in the Bonn Summit. Where is Bonn? Germany. Who is the chairman? The president of Fiji. Where is Fiji? A small island in the Southwest Pacific Ocean. Here, Talanoa Agreement is one very important one which has taken birth along with the SUA Expert Dialogue on Loss and Damage. These are the two very important along with the gender equality, climate change and gender equality. See, the 3 very important points that were raised in the Bonn are Talanoa Dialogue, SUA Expert Panel on Loss and Damage. The third one is gender equality and climate change. Gender equality and climate change. Is there any impact of climate change on the gender? What this summit says that the climate change is impacting more on women, not on men. Climate change is gender biased. This is what this particular summit says. See this one. What is this Talanoa? First of all, let us talk about Talanoa dialogue, then we will come across other things. All you people are following, these are one very, very important. Whatever the concepts we are discussing, all they are very important. If at all you are having the thread of connectivity, if you can connect all these things, then you will be getting good information from these slides. You can predict the futuristic talks. You can answer even it may be a question in the mains part also. All you people are there. No one is responding. You are simply listening or what? Or is the prompter not working or what? Could you able to understand what are the things I am explaining? Come on, pay attention right from here. Right from here, they are very, very important. Whatever happened till now are the old, past things. Like, first of all, Kyoto Protocol was there. After the Kyoto Protocol, then came the Paris Agreement. What is the main difference between the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement? Main difference between the Paris and the Kyoto Protocol is, in the Paris Agreement, where voluntary commitments were taken. What do you mean by voluntary commitments? Each and every country was asked to come out willingly how much they are going to contribute for climate change. Whereas in the Paris Agreement, it's not, in the Kyoto Protocol, it's not like that. Kyoto Protocol was very stubborn, was targeting few countries. You fellow, you have to contribute this much. And all other countries, you are free. This is a top-down approach. Which is a top-down approach? Kyoto Protocol is a top-down approach. Whereas Paris Agreement is a bottom-up approach. What do you mean by bottom-up approach? Where the commitments needs to be, the greenhouse gases should be reduced not by force but by voluntarily. Each and every country needs to feel responsible. They need to come out voluntarily. Yes, I am going to contribute this much. I am going to contribute this much. This is what the Paris Agreement. And everyone is believing that Paris Agreement is going to be a sure success. Is it okay? Is it okay? Could you able to understand? Still now there is no response. Yes. Okay. Yes, you people are responding, but now I can able to see this one. Till now you are responding, but I couldn't see. But now it is visible. Come on, Dinesh. This is what the climate change is. You don't need to. Yes, yes, very good, wonderful. You people are there. All you people are there. Very good. Now it is too good. Whenever the interaction is there, then I can feel like, yes, whatever I am telling is getting into your mind, right? Now, listen this one. Very, very important one is Talanova dialogue. Listen this one. What is this Talanova dialogue? What is this Talanova dialogue? What is this Talanova dialogue? Now see this one. In the Bonn summit, Germany, in the Bonn summit, Germany, under the leadership of what is called Fiji Prime Minister, Fiji President, Talanova dialogue has happened. What is this Talanova dialogue? The Talanova dialogue talks about two very important time periods. One is called as pre-2020, another one is called as post-2020. Pre-2020 and post-2020. What is this pre-2020 and what is this post-2020? Means what? Pre-Paris Agreement, post-Paris Agreement. What needs to do? The developed countries, they are silent regarding the pre-2020. They are more talking about post-2020. Less, we'll be seeing in the Paris Agreement, we'll control the climate change, everything. Let us talk about this one, but not about the pre-2020. Now, what the developing countries like India, China, what these countries are talking about? They are talking about one very, very important one called as global stock change. It's called as GST. What is GST? You people feel like GST is a goods and service tax. Everyone know about only GST as goods and service tax. But there is a very important concept in the environment called as global stock take. This is called as global stock take, TAKA. It's called as global stock take. Very, very important. What is this global stock take? Each and every country, in each and every country, how much of carbon is present. Means what? How much of greenhouse gases are there in each and every country will be calculated. When they will be calculating? Before 2020 and after the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Again, for every 5 years, they will be taking GST, global stock take. Then they will be calculating how much was there. Suppose in India, suppose there are 1000 tons in 2018. In the year 2023, when they calculate how much of greenhouse gas are there, maybe 250. How much got reduced? 750 got reduced. This will be the very clarity or clear picture that will be given by the GST to the summits, Paris Agreement. How much is reduced by the government of India? But how to take this global stock take? This is the biggest issue. This is the biggest issue. What is the biggest issue? How to take the global stock take? As I said just now, each and every country, whatever the amount of greenhouse gases that are present, we need to calculate. How to calculate? Will not be calculated in the air like this. What the people will be doing, they will be calculating number of industries and their productivity. their productivity. Suppose in order to produce this many products, 100 products, for the production of 100 products, how much of fuel is consumed? If at all you are consuming 1000 liters of fuel, maybe petrol, for burning 1000 liters of petrol, how much carbon dioxide will be there? 100 tons of carbon dioxide will be there. Therefore, one industry will be giving 100 tons, and thereby all the industries, how much of carbon dioxide is being released, they will be calculating the number of industries, number of vehicles, number of polluting factors. After calculating all these things, they sum up, they says that yes, particular country like India is having the global greenhouse gases this many tons. This is how they will be taking the stock. Calculating the stock is called as global stock take. How much of GHG is there as a stock in each and every country will be done as an exercise starting from 2018. Very, very important. In the year 2018, the first global stock take already has taken. This can be a question in the preliminary part. For every how many years the global stock take is going to take? For every 5 years. For every 5 years. The next global stock take will be in the year 2023. This is going to be a very, very big question. In the preliminary part, this can be a question. We started, means what? All the world countries started taking the stock right from 2018. We in India, we are also calculating in association with the international organizations. They are calculating the industries, they are calculating the polluting factors, they are calculating how much of import of the crude oil is happening, how much of, whenever you are importing the crude oil, that itself means that how much you are going to burn. How much of production is there in the coal industry. Why you are extracting the coal? In order to burn, so that we will be calculating how much of greenhouse gas we will be releasing. By clubbing all these things, already we have taken the global stock take in the year 2018. That is pre-2020. That needs to be checked with the post-2020. This is regarding the Talnova agreement. The Talnova agreement talks about the two time periods. One is called as the pre-2020 and the post-2020. What the developed countries are talking about, let us don't talk about pre-2020. Right from 1st Jan 2021, when Paris agreement comes into picture, let us calculate all these things right from 1st January 2021. But the developing countries are highly adamant and made developed countries to follow Talnova dialogue. And the personality behind this Talnova dialogue was Merkel, the so-called German Chancellor. And she is the one who is very much vocal, and she has brought all the developed countries to follow these things. EU, for that matter, in the climate change, EU is the one which is a very, very important country in allowing the rules, regulations to be followed in the climate change. This is about the Talnova. Clear? This is about the Talnova dialogue. This is the roadmap. The roadmap for Talnova dialogue means what? What it should be there in the global stock take in the 2020, pre-2020, then post-2020. This is regarding the Talnova. Then the concept of loss and damage. The concept of loss and damage. What is the concept of loss and damage? Pay attention, again very, very important. What do you mean by loss and what is damage? Which is a great loss? Is a loss or damage? Which is the bigger one? Which is danger? Loss is danger or damage is danger? Because of the action of the developed countries. Listen this one. Because of action of developed countries, we, the so-called small countries, who is talking about this one? The small island developed countries. Since Fiji is the chairman of this Bonn Convention, they are telling that the countries which are located in the tropical areas, especially small islands. These islandic countries are facing the heat of the pollutants released by the developed countries. The developed countries have polluted like anything. Because of their action, we are facing the trouble here. Therefore, those developed countries, see this one, those developed countries which cannot follow the protocol norms, they need to compensate the developing countries or underdeveloped countries which are having devastations. Having devastation. Come and write down the concept of loss and damage. What do you mean by loss and damage? Those countries which fail to, those developed countries which failed to control GHGs should compensate the countries suffering from climate change. This is what the concept of loss and damage. See this one? What is the concept of loss and damage? Those developed countries which fail to control GHG should compensate the countries suffering from the climate change. Like the best example, what happened for Chennai before year? The very great devastation, flooding was there, great cyclonic activity. What happened to other countries like the Cuba country, like where hurricane came and they have devastated the entire Haiti? Haiti was collapsed like anything. These are the poor countries. Also, what happened to Kiribati Islands? What happened to Samoa Island? What happened to the islands that are present in the southwestern Pacific Ocean? Many of the countries are submerging. When something is happening, like in the northeastern part of Australia, island got submerged. Not only this one, even in Lakshadweep, the island called as Parali Island got submerged. When such loss is happening, not damage, such loss is happening here, you people are feeling some damage. That is not a loss for you, but we are losing the life itself. You need to compensate at least for the damage. You need to compensate at least for the damage. This is what the world small islandic countries are demanding the developed countries. This is what the concept of loss and damage. Then the next one is called as the gender action plan. What is the gender action plan? As I said, this particular Bonn summit says that the gender is also affected because of the climate change. The climate change is biased towards male. Male is not suffering because of climate change. It is a female who is having the greater suffering. This is what discovered in this summit. Clear? And the next one, after this one, the Fiji also launched the Ocean Pathway. There is a partnership called as Ocean Pathway Partnership. Fiji also launched Ocean Pathway Partnership. All these things are in the Bonn Summit 2016-17. This is 17. COP 21, 22, 23. This is 23. What is this Ocean Pathway? It aims to strengthen the inclusion of ocean within the, what is this one? Ocean Pathway Partnership, nothing but including oceans. In UNFCCC. What UNFCCC is talking about? It is talking only about the atmosphere, the changes in the gas compositions. Now, inclusion of oceans within the UNFCCC purview. This is what the Ocean Pathway Partnership. Clear? In the inclusion of oceans within the UNFCCC process is called as the Ocean Pathway Partnership. Then, after this one, after the Bonn Summit, the next one is called as Katowice, a place, very important place in Poland. Katowice Summit. This is COP 24. Katowice Summit, COP 24, that was in Poland. The next summit took place. What the Katowice talks about? It talks about the global stocktake. The global stocktake was accepted. The global stocktake, which was talked extensively in the Bonn Summit, now it was accepted. After the acceptance, the global stocktake started since here. What is this one? 2018. It is in the year 2018. Therefore, for the first time, global stocktake happened in all the world countries because of the Katowice Summit. Clear? The first global stocktake happened in the year 2018, and the decision has taken to take the global stocktake every 5 years, and therefore in the next year 2023, it's not 023, it is 2023, the next stock is going to be calculated. Then they will be calculating how much was there in 2018, how much is there in the present day, if it is increasing, if it is decreasing. No such mechanism was there under Kyoto Protocol, but now in each and every country the global stocktake will be taken. Is it clear? This is about the Katowice Summit. The Katowice Summit, it talks about the new funding, the green climate change. Means what? Green climate fund. It talk about $100 billion every year needs to be given by the developed countries to developing countries till 2025. Right from 2021 till 2025, every year $100 billion needs to be given for the developing and underdeveloped countries by the developed countries. This is the green climate change fund it was talked about. Then after this one, the next one, 2019, at a place called as Madrid, Spain. What happened? In fact, in the year 2019, the venue was not Madrid, not Spain. In fact, it was Santiago of Chile. The meeting was supposed to conduct in the Chile, but the venue was shifted because of the political tussle that was there in the Chile. The Chile government could not conduct this exercise. Then the people, like this girl, who is this girl, where she has become a big icon, the youth icon in the case of climate change. These people went to Chile. What is the name of that girl? Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg also, along with some of the environmentalists, they reached Santiago. When they reached Santiago, in order to attend the climate change summit, all of a sudden climate change summit was cancelled. When they cancelled the summit, all these environmentalists, they need to come out again to Madrid. All of a sudden it was happened, the program was shifted, the venue was shifted because of the political tussle in the Santiago. Then the people came by a small boat taking a voyage on the water, and they reached finally to Spain. This is what happened. Okay, this is what the 2019 Spain summit. This was the last summit that has happened. In the year 2020, it is supposed to held, but it couldn't held. And finally, on 1st of Jan 2021, Paris Agreement came to existence. Right now we are in not Kyoto Protocol but in Paris Agreement. Already we entered into the Paris Agreement. This is what the Paris Agreement we started entering from 1st Jan 2021. Now what are the things that were left? Like Talnow dialogue, we need to take the global stock. Then in this summit, in the Madrid summit, there was a very great outcome. What was the great outcome? The people discussed one very important drawback that is present in the Paris Agreement. What is the drawback? This is called as EGR. What is that EGR? Very, very important. Come on, understand this one. This is called as emission gap report. Attention, very, very important. In the Madrid summit, the ecologists, the environmentalists, where the politician, along with the politician, all they came up one very great drawback in the Paris Agreement. What was the drawback? When the Kyoto Protocol, see this one, Kyoto Protocol has given certain targets to certain countries like A, B, C, D, all 37 countries. When Kyoto Protocol has given the targets for 37 countries to reduce the greenhouse gases, then the temperature will be less than 2 degrees centigrade. All these clubs to some amount of GHG. This is what the Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol has calculated perfectly this much of greenhouse gases needs to be reduced. Then only the earth will be having temperature less than 2 degrees centigrade. These people are perfectly calculating the statistics. But under Paris Agreement, what was given? INDC was given. What is INDC? Each and every country can come up with a voluntary agreement. Then all the countries like A, B, C, D country, all the 197 countries came up with the commitments, the voluntary contributions, all they put together is this much. How much is required? How much is contributed? Means what? In other terms, if at all I am explaining in a very common language so that all you people can understand. Suppose if this guy requires 1,000 rupees. Suppose I require 1,000 rupees. Let me explain like this. If I require 1,000 rupees, in your class of 100 members, I will be selecting only 30 students. Like you, 30 people, because you people are having financial strength, you are having financial muscle. You please give me 1,000 rupees. How? A, give me 150 rupees. Other fellow, give me 250 rupees. Other fellow, give me 500 rupees because you are more financially strong. Therefore, you give me 500 rupees. Therefore, this guy has collected all the amount from only 37 students. From only 37 students, this guy has collected. This is the calculation of Kyoto Protocol. Now, when these people are not contributing all these things, when the Kyoto Protocol failed, how much this guy required? This guy required 1,000 rupees. Now, Paris Agreement came into picture. What they are asking, I want 1,000 rupees. Earlier what I did, I selected some 37 people to contribute 1,000 rupees. Then my purpose was solved. But now, when these fellows are not giving, 37 fellows are not giving, I am asking, let you contribute yourself, how much you can give. I am not pressurizing you, I am not asking you, let you contribute, how much you can give. But I require how much? 1,000 rupees. This is what is the Paris Agreement. In a very small nutshell, if at all I want to give in a very common language, the understanding between the KP and PA, Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. If any person wants 1,000 rupees, the Kyoto Protocol is selecting some few students and asking those people, keeping certain target, you fellow, you have to give 200 rupees, you have to give 300 rupees. And the Kyoto Protocol has targeted only a few students and they has collected 1,000 rupees. This is what the idea of Kyoto Protocol. But when these fellows are failed to give, now under Paris Agreement, what is happened? Let you all people, all 100 people, whatever the cluster that is there, all you people contribute me 1,000 rupees. Then all the people started collecting. All they are giving voluntarily. When they gave voluntarily, how much it came to, how much is required? 1,000 rupees is required. How much it came to? It came to only 250 rupees. Not 250. It came to only 200 rupees. All it came to only 200 rupees. How much is deficit? How much is deficit? How much is deficit? Five times is deficit. This is called as emission gap report. The emission gap report was released in the year 2019. It says that how much we ask, how much you are contributing. Got the point? What the emission gap report talks about, how much we are asking. We are asking 1,000 rupees. How much you are contributing? All the world countries contributed to only 200 rupees. What is the gap? There is a big gap of 5 times. This is what called as the emission gap report. The emission gap report says that there is 5 times gap between the contribution and required targets. Therefore, it is not going to be a successful or fruitful agreement. This is what the emission gap report says. Each and every country has to enhance their contribution. We under INDC, the Government of India has given the contribution 33 to 35%. Now, emission gap report is asking to enhance this contribution. To enhance this contribution. Is it clear? Understand the emission gap report. What is the emission gap report? Emission gap report is the gap that was discovered in the year 2019 between what is required, what is contributed. How much is required? What these people are asking, what these people are giving. There is a big gap. When there is a gap, can we bring the success for the Paris Agreement? This is a doubtful thing. When it was discovered? In the year 2019. These are all the things that are present till now, right from 1992 till 2021. These are the developments that have happened. All the developments I have given in the form of a PPT, and I will be sending that PPT today. Probably by night you will be reaching this PPT. You go through this PPT. Whatever the developments happened till now, all those things are being provided. Right? Then after this one, next one, climate change in India. Give the heading as climate change in India. Give the heading as climate change in India. Go for a small break. Give the heading as climate change and India. What is the India's role? This is again very, very important. Come on. Go for a small break. After the break, we will be talking about the climate change in India. Yes, come on. Welcome back. Yes, come on. Let us start the class. Now, come on. Yes, too good. Come on, let us start this one. Wonderful. After the break, let us see the climate change in India. Before going to see the climate change in India, let us talk about the differences between the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Before going to see how the climate change and what is the role of India government in the climate change talks, all these things we will be discussing this one. What India government has did with respect to the excuse me, the climate change talks. This is what the topic is. Since there was some questions like or some of our friend was having a doubt like what is the link between 33% and India. For that one, let me talk about the Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. Come on, take down, write down something. Differences between the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Come on, write down in your notes the differences between the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Protocol. What is the difference between the Paris Agreement and the Protocol? There you can understand what is the contribution, why the contribution is 33% and what do you mean by 33%. Come on, divide the page into two. Divide the page into two parts. One side write down as Kyoto Protocol. Don't write KP, write down full form, Kyoto Protocol. Another side write down Paris Agreement. What is the differences, what are the differences between the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Protocol? First point, write down under Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol brought in 1997. It is brought in the year 1997. Got ratified in 2005. Brought in 1995, ratified in 2005. Kyoto Protocol brought in 1997, ratified in 2005. Right? Then another Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement was brought in 2015. Brought in 2015. Ratified in 2016. This is the first point. First difference. It was brought in 2015, got ratified in 2016 within 1 year, but whereas here it has taken 8 complete years to get ratified. Right? The next one. What is the link between Kyoto Protocol and this one? Kyoto Protocol has got 2 commitment periods. Kyoto Protocol 1, Kyoto Protocol 2. One is between 2008 to 12. This is 2013 to 2020. These are the 2 commitment periods. It is to be implemented from 1st Jan 2021 and every 5 years. Every 5 years global stock take will be calculated. Every 5 years global stock take will be calculated. See here, this is having a specific time period, 8 to 12, 30 to 20. Is there any such a specific time period is there here or what? For every 5 years, it will be keep on placing into, you will be calculating the global stock take and will be taking the steps to increase the global stock take. You will be, step to increase in sense, increase the commitments. This is what the second difference. The second difference between Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. The third one, it is legally binding on only developed countries under the principle of equity. Under the principle of Equity. What is the principle of equity? Common but differential responsibility. This is what the principle of equity. Whereas here, see this one, legally binding. On whom? Only developed countries. It is not like this. It is based on voluntary commitments. It is based on voluntary commitments. Voluntary commitments. The countries can come up voluntarily and can contribute. This is what the voluntary commitments. It is called as INDC. In the 2020, where the new term came into picture called as NDC. What is the difference between INDC and NDC? Now see this one. What is the difference between INDC and NDC? What is INDC? Intended nationally determined contributions. Then came the new term called as nationally determined contributions. What is the difference between INDC and NDC? NDCs are legally binding. Means what? What is the difference? Only I is difference. I is nothing but intended. NDC, nationally determined contributions. You need to come up voluntarily. Once you come up with the voluntary commitments, once you submit those commitments to the Paris Agreement, selecting how much you are going to reduce the greenhouse gases is up to you. Once you selected, like I will be contributing to this much, and that particular figure will be binding on that country. That is called as NDC. There is a difference between INDC and NDC. INDCs becomes NDCs. Got the point? What do you mean by INDC and what is NDC? Intended is the only difference. Intended nationally determined contribution. NDC is nothing but nationally determined contribution. INDC, intended nationally determined contribution. What makes the difference between INDC, NDC? Selecting how much you are going to control the greenhouse gases is up to you. But once you have selected, like suppose if you are asked to contribute something, you decided that out of 1000 rupees I will be contributing 200 rupees, and you will come forward and say that my contribution to the world countries is 200 rupees. Once you commit before the world countries that you are going to give 200 rupees, you have to give that one. That is what called as NDC. Got the point? Until you announce before the world countries, you can change 100, you can change 150, you can change 180, that is up to you. But once you come out and reveal how much you are going to contribute, that will become a burden, that will become that will be fixed on you. That is called as legally binding. Clear? Now, that is called as legally binding. Then, the next difference, what is the number? After the third, the fourth one. The base year. Base year is 1990. Base year is 1990. What do you mean by the base year? From where, from what time period the calculations are being taken out? It is based on 1990 emissions. Whereas here, the base year is 2005. Base year is 2005. Means what? The government of India has said that we are going to reduce 33 to 35% of GHG based on 2005 emissions. Based on 2005 emissions means what? Whatever the government of India was releasing, the GHG, the government of India released GHG, greenhouse gases in 2005, that will become the base. Based on that one, if in 2005 the government of India has released 1000 tons of greenhouse gases, in the year 2021 we are going to reduce 33 to 35% of 2005 emissions. Therefore, 2005 emissions becomes the base. These are the differences between the Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. Also, there is a fund mechanism also. The fund mechanism, like, what is the other difference? The other difference is, there was a provision called as flexible market mechanism. What are the flexible market mechanisms? Like joint implementation, CDM and carbon trading. Whereas here, the things like sustainable development mechanism. What is the sustainable development mechanism? It is with respect to the promotion of green technologies. Sustainable development mechanism is with respect to the development of green technologies. We need to become sustainable development mechanism. It is with respect to green technologies. What is the commitment in the Paris Agreement? We need to become carbon neutrality. You need to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. We need to become carbon neutrality by 2050. This is what the commitment. Now, understand this one? All these things. See the differences? Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement, what was the difference? The first one is, it came into picture in 1997 and got ratified in 2005, but it is 2005 and 15 and 16. Kyoto Protocol has two commitment periods, 8 to 12, 13 to 20, but whereas under this Paris Agreement, the global stock take will be taken for every 5 years. Then it is legally binding on only developed countries, only 37 developed countries where the legally binding is there. It is, all the countries can come out with the voluntary commitments, but once you come out with the voluntary commitments, they becomes what is called as binding agreements. Then base year is 1990, here the base year is 2005. What do you mean by base year? During that point of time, how much you are releasing, now based on that year, how much you are going to contribute. India said that 30 to 35% we are going to reduce the greenhouse gases on what? On 2005 releasing, means what? 2005, based on 2005 global stock. 2005 stock, 2005, in the year 2005, how much of GHG was released by the government of India? Based on this one, we are going to reduce 33 to 35%. Clear? This is about the 33 to 35% concept. Then flexible market mechanisms like joint implementation, clean development mechanism and the carbon trading was there. But here, this point is very important, called as sustainable development mechanism. What is this sustainable development mechanism? Come on, understand this one. What is called as sustainable development mechanism? The sustainable development mechanism is introduced in the Paris Agreement. It says that by the year 2050, the world should become carbon neutral. The world should become carbon neutral. How to become carbon neutral? Nothing but whatever the fossil fuels we are using right now, we need to shed that one. We need to go for technological upgradations like the introduction of electric vehicles, introduction of solar power, introduction of wind power, introduction of all the non-conventional energy sources. This is what the target. Whenever you are shedding the fossil fuels and we are using the clean fuels, then we will be carbon neutral. There won't be any release of carbon dioxide, then there won't be any need of sequestering the carbon dioxide. If at all we are releasing any carbon dioxide, say for example, Say for example, if there is a plant like this, suppose if this is a plant, this is a factory where it is emitting so much of carbon dioxide. This has to take responsibility to calculate how much every day, suppose every day it is releasing 10 tons of carbon dioxide. This plant has to go for the other facilities like carbon sequestration techniques, saying that I am releasing 10 tons of carbon and I am absorbing 10 tons of carbon by going for either afforestation or going for developing such type of instruments where they can absorb the carbon dioxide. How much is released? The same amount needs to be absorbed, sequestrated. This is what called as carbon neutrality. Introduction of clean energy is one strategy. Another one is, if at all you are using the fossil fuel, alternatively the same amount of sequestration. What do you mean by sequestration? Absorption of carbon dioxide should be maintained. This is what called as carbon neutrality. When the global should attain, it will be by 2050. This is the target under the Paris Agreement. These are all the differences between the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement, right? This is about the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Protocol. Then after this one, let us talk about the very important concept called as, we are coming to the Indian scenario. Come on, let us talk about the Indian scenario. Give the heading as India and the Kyoto Protocol, India and the climate change. Give the heading as India and the climate change. I can see you people there is a great difference between the second module and the third module. When I what is carbon neutrality? Just now I explained, right? Is it okay? Just now I explained. Hope is it clear? If it is not clear, please respond. Carbon neutrality is clear. If it is not clear, let you please respond. I will be again explaining. What do you mean by carbon neutrality? Whatever the carbon dioxide we are releasing, the same amount needs to be sequestrated. Okay, fine. Now, listen this one. What I have observed a very great change in you till module 2 and module 3, the two modules. You people are very active in the module 2. By the time you came to the module 3, what happened? You are somewhat, lazy, something is happening. Is it because of the class timing or what? It is from 1:30 to 4:30. I can see a great change. You people were very active, so great responding, and you can understand the concept even very clearly. When I used to give even the complex concept also, you try to understand in a very simple manner. But right now, what happened to you people? You are not at all interested in this one. You feel like it has become a burden, just like the developed countries are feeling a burden from the Kyoto Protocol. Is it because the timing? Don't say yes, no. If at all it is the timing, let we change the timing. Why you people needs to not have certain interest? What is important is, if at all you are understanding the concept, then only I feel pleasure. If at all you are not understanding, why is the point of explaining all these things? Okay, anyhow. But there is no other way out. The management has given the same time. There is no other slot available. 1:30 to 2:30, 4:30. Within another 2 classes. I am going to complete this one. Come on, understand this one. Indian climate change. Pay attention, very, very important. Whatever happened, so happened. At least, be very attentive right from here. Come on. India and climate change. What are the developments in the Indian scenario regarding the climate change? Under the leadership of Mr. Manmohan Singh, way back in the year 2008 itself, the government of India has gone for the introduction of a very important concept called as National Action Plan on Climate Change. India has introduced the National Action Plan on Climate Change, which is popularly called as NAPCC. Pay attention, write down. Whatever I am writing on the board, please write down. Way back in the year 2008 itself, under the UPA government, the government of India has introduced the National Action Plan on Climate Change. In the National Action Plan on Climate Change, on lines with the Kyoto Protocol, on lines with the UNFCCC, on lines with the IPCC, Government of India has introduced 8 mission mode projects. 8 mission mode projects. What is a mission? Mission mode is nothing but which is having a time bound framework. Within a time bound framework where the climate needs to be controlled and we need to bring a greater resilience. What is the target? The target is to bring the greater resilience. What is the resilience? The coping capacity. Whatever happens, we need to recover very fast. This is called as the resilience capacity. We need to bring in the India the resilience based upon 8 mission mode projects. What are those 8 mission mode projects? The first and foremost mission mode project is called as the National Solar Mission. This is called as National Solar Mission. What is this National Solar Mission? The development of 100 gigawatts of solar power by 2022. This is the biggest target. The biggest target is we need to develop the solar energy. Instead of going for the fossil fuel energy, we need to develop the solar energy, and the private companies are given a free hand for the development of the solar energy. Out of these 100 gigawatts, 40 gigawatts should be from the rooftops, and 60 gigawatts from the solar power plants. PPs means what? Power plants. 60 gigawatts needs to be gathered into the grid. What is the grid? Grid is nothing but supply of electricity from all the sources. We need to contribute at least 100 gigawatts of solar power to the electricity grid by 2022. What is the year? 2021. Within next year, we are going to contribute this one. We have already achieved this one. We have started developing so many solar power parks. The solar power parks were introduced, solar power plants were introduced both in private as well as the government departments, where the 40% should be from the rooftops and 60% from the solar power plants, right? Now, this 40% from the rooftops, as we people are having very good amount of solar insulation, all the tops of the buildings, especially high-rise buildings, all these people are given a very great awareness to install the solar panels, and the solar panels were being supplied at the subsidized rates. After supplying this one, the concept called as this energy that is produced, suppose this is a building, on the top of the building, suppose if this is a building, on the top of the building solar power plants were there. Suppose this is a solar power plant. Means what? Solar panel is there. This solar panel is linked to the electricity grid. It is linked to the electricity grid. And this particular wire will be having a meter, which is called as, the concept is called as net metering. This is called as net metering. What is this net metering? how much of electricity is produced by this particular house, and that is contributed to the solar to the electricity grid, that will be recorded in this meter. In this meter, that will be recorded. Say for example, it has produced 100 units of electricity, and this particular building has consumed 150 units of electricity. In the month, normally, this electricity is produced and electricity is directly given to the electricity grid, right? But this building, the people are staying here and the people will be consuming electricity. Suppose if their bill is 150 units and the building has produced 100 units of electricity, the bill will be generated only for 50 units based on net metering. This is the concept of net metering, which was already asked in the UPSC. When such a very important development takes place, don't you think that UPSC is silent? Definitely it will be asking. When the large high-rise buildings in urban localities are having the electricity panels, the solar electricity panels, when they are producing the electricity is directly supplied to the grid, and the meters that are placed on this one, this is called as net metering. What is mean by net? What is this net metering? Metering is the meter, having the meter. What is this net metering? Calculating this one. How much this building is consuming, how much this building is producing. Net will be either minus or plus. What do you mean by minus or plus? If this is producing 200 units, if they are consuming only 150, government will be paying 50 units of energy to this building. Could understand, this is what called as net metering. This was a very important concept that was already mentioned in the, already asked in the UPSC. This is the target. Not only this one, even in this one, even in this solar power plants, the government has started developing so many solar parks, solar power parks. So many solar power parks were already established. One of the solar power park which was established, the second largest one was there in the Karnataka. The second largest that was there in the Karnataka, the place called as Pavagada Solar Park. Solar Park, largest solar park is there in the region like Bhivindi. The area is called as the Bhivindi. Solar Park. What is the name of this one? Come on, let us check this one. This is the, no, this is not the one. I want to show this one. Just wait, hold on. The largest solar power park. One is the Pavagada solar power plant. This is the second largest. Where is the first largest? The largest Badla. It is there in the Rajasthan. The first one. Come on. How much of the solar power parks? Very, very important one is the establishment of solar power parks. World's largest solar parks was there in one Rajasthan. Why Rajasthan? Because of more insulation. The second state, it is Karnataka. The place is called as, what is the name of the village? The name of the village is called as Badla. B-H-A-D-L-A. B-H-A-D-L-A. This is Badla. In the Rajasthan, the first world's largest solar power plant was established at a place called as Badla solar power plant. The next very important solar power plant that was established here is called as the Pavagada. Pavagada solar power plant. This Badla region where the entire land is, the land belongs to what is called as the government. So there was no much land acquisition problem. But here all the entire land utilized for the development of 1000 megawatts of the solar power is from the private people. The private people have contributed on an extensive scale. This is there in the district called as Tumkur of Karnataka, where 2000 megawatts of the solar power plant was been established. Here it is 2200 megawatts of solar power was established here. Badla became the world's largest solar power plant, followed by the very important one called as Karnataka's Pavagada solar power plant. Now, what is the biggest problem here in the solar power parks? Any area, suppose if this is the land, what is the biggest problem in the development of the solar power plant? The land is the biggest problem. Land acquisition is the problem. Whenever you are establishing the panel here like this, whenever you are establishing the solar panels like this, what happens? This particular piece of land is not utilized for any purpose. This is lost forever. Moreover, if at all under this one, if you want to grow something also, they can't grow. Why? Because of intense heat that is reflected here, the heat that is present, because of absorption of more and more heat, the temperatures are very high here. When the temperatures are high, the land is unfit for cultivation, unfit for any other purpose. Therefore, what we are losing, in order to produce one very great resource, another valuable resource is lost. This is the negative point in the solar power parks. In order to overcome this one, see this one, this point is very, very important. You can make use of this information anywhere in the mains part, essay part, whatever the point is. What is a very important one here is, in order to overcome this particular problem of land acquisition, what happened? This is a reservoir. The government of India has constructed so many canals like this. The government of India has constructed so many canals, right? They has constructed so many canals. The government of India has constructed so many canals. What is the biggest problem in the canal irrigation? What is the biggest problem in the canal irrigation? You might have come across in the geography where you might have come across this canal irrigation. What is the biggest problem in the canal irrigation is water use efficiency. The biggest problem in the canal irrigation is water use efficiency. What is this water use efficiency? Whenever you are supplying the water in a canal like this, suppose if this is a canal, where canal is the one which is supplying the water. When this is the water supply that is happening, suppose if this is the one, okay, okay, something like this, right? When the water is moving like this, what happens? The evaporation takes place. The sun will be intensely squeezing the water. Not only the evaporation, the water will be, as the land is thirsty, the water will be seeped down, the ground will be absorbing. Therefore, whenever you are supplying 100 liters of water, how many liters of water are received there to the destination? It is only 50%. Only 50% of water use efficiency is there in the canal irrigation. This is what you might have come across in the in geography also. The canal irrigation, the tank irrigation, and the another one called as well irrigation. Well irrigation and the tank irrigation, more than 80% of water use efficiency is there. Canal irrigation, the water use efficiency is just 50%. This is the biggest problem in the canal irrigation. Now, the biggest problem here in the solar panel is the loss of land. Now the people in the Niti Aayog, where the people has brought with us, the case study was brought, and there was a very great discussion, and then they came up with a very innovative idea. What is that innovative idea? Placing the solar panels on the canals like this. Placing the solar panels over the banks of the canals like this. Extensive solar panels will be closing the canal so that the sun's rays cannot fall on the water, and therefore the evaporation is being protected. This is one. The other one is cementing the canal. Cementing the canal is a normal idea, but not a big idea. But covering the canals, whatever the largest canals that are there, all the canals, right now the government of India is starting with the state of Gujarat. Now the implementation reached up to Karnataka. In all the rivers of Karnataka where the canals are being dragged, there you can find the solar panels that are covered. Whenever the solar panels are covering, then what happens? The evaporation towards the atmosphere will be less, and so one reason is the evaporation is stopped. Other reason is you can protect what is called as, you can produce electricity. You can see these type of things. If you can type the canal, the solar panels over the canals, you can find the extensive images. Okay. Let me check this one whether it is available in the net or not. Okay, this is what the extensive canals that are found here. The first state which introduced is called as Gujarat. Could understand? This is how, see, you are having, whenever you are having some innovative ideas, you can send that innovative ideas to the government. See here. See, this is there, the Narmada Canal Power Project. This is called as the Canal Power Projects. How to show this one? Yes, I can make use of this one, right? See this one. Yes, solar panels over canals. Right? If you go to images, you can see this one. See, this is the canal. See, this is the one where the innovative technology. Do you think that this is technology? This is technology, but this is a common sense. In fact, these are the things where the government of India is waiting for. When you are the young minds like you, when you can provide such type of solutions, then India can glow like anything. This is what the very important thing. Is it clear? Okay. See, there is a site called as mygov.in. You can post all these things in mygov.in. Whenever you get any such idea, creative idea, so that it can save some important or valuable resources, then you can find this one. Okay. See, this is what the canal power projects, that is there in on the Narmada. In the geography, whenever you are coming across what is called as the Damodar Valley Corporation, is called as DVC, Damodar Valley Corporation, in all the 4 projects like Tilaya, Maithon, then Panchet, Konar. These are the dams. These are the multi-purpose dams that were constructed on the Damodar and these tributaries. Over all these things, this type of concept was introduced. Not only this one, in the river like Lakshmana Tirtha of Karnataka. In the Lakshmana Tirtha of Karnataka, on the Sabarmati river, on the Narmada river. And in fact, it is called as the Narmada Power Project, Canal Power Projects. This is what the one. See, all these things where the concept was implemented, and right now we are seeing the production of electricity. This is the solar power. What are the different power parks that were there? One is called as Badla, BHADLA. Badla is a very important, world's largest solar power plant. You can make use of this information everywhere, like maybe in essay, maybe in economy, maybe in geography, wherever it is available, you can write this one. Then the next one is called as Pavada. Also, not only the power parks, also the solar power stations given under the hands of private people. Like the other day I was talking about what is called as Dahanu solar power plant. Dahanu solar power plant, which is a project which has been funded by the Sweden. The country like Sweden has gone for funding the Dahanu solar power plant in Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan. Clear? These are all the developments that are there. Clear? This is about the first one, the first and foremost one called as the climate change in India. Come on, write on. Climate change in India. The first and foremost one, climate change in India. Under this one, the government of India has started. Come on, make note of this one. You people feel so bad if I won't give the notes. Come on. Write down. NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change, started in the year 2008. NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change, launched in year 2008 with 8 mission mode projects. With 8 mission mode projects. Okay, is the 8 mission mode projects. Number 1, the first one, give the first one, called as National Solar Mission. National Solar Mission. The target is to produce 100 gigawatts of, the target is to produce 100 gigawatts of solar power by 2022. Come on, write down as it is. The target is to produce 100 gigawatts, GW, 100 gigawatts of solar power by 2022. 40 gigawatts on the rooftops and 60 gigawatts through the 40 gigawatts the rooftops and 60 gigawatts through 60 gigawatts through the power plants, solar power plants. Through solar power plants. And a total of, write on the next point, a total of 175 gigawatts of energy through non-renewable sources. Non-renewable sources. Second point is not just the solar energy, 175 gigawatts of energy through non-renewable sources. What do you mean by non-renewable sources? Where they are not the fossil fuel sources. Whenever you are talking about 175 total, out of this 100 is shared by solar, just 75 by other sources like wind, then geothermal or the wave energy or the tidal energy. All they contribute to just another 75. 100 is by solar. The target is to reach 175 gigawatts of energy through non-renewable. Come on, this is the first point. Second point. The government of India has started. Come on, write down. The government of India has established. The government of India has established the world's largest solar power parks at Badla. The world's largest solar power plants at Badla and Pavagada. BHADLA. At Badla and Pavagada of Rajasthan and Karnataka respectively. Full stop. The concept of net metering, next point. The concept of net metering. The concept of net metering was introduced for home rooftop solar installations. The concept of net The concept of net metering. The concept of net metering, METERING, is introduced for home rooftop solar installations. Net metering is nothing but, what is net metering? Production of solar energy by the household. The production of solar energy by the households. Then, along with the solar power parks, the concept of solar cities was also introduced by the government of India. Along with the solar parks, the concept of solar cities was also introduced by the government of India. Along with the solar parks, the concept of solar cities was also introduced by the government of India. Government of India has selected number of cities under solar city concept. Solar City Corporation is a subsidiary, one second. Solar cities. Come on, write down like this. Solar city solar cities are those cities which aims at minimizing the energy, which aims at minimizing the energy demands through fossil fuels. See, one of our friend was asking a question like, does solar power also include solar thermal or exclusively solar voltaic? All they are including, solar thermal, solar voltaic, everything is included, right? The objective of the solar city, come on, write down. The objective of the solar city is to enable the urban local governments. The objective of the solar city is to enable the urban local governments to address energy challenges. Then the next one. See the next one. National mission on. After this one, come on. National mission on. National mission on enhanced energy efficiency. Come on. The next one. The second mission. National mission on enhanced energy efficiency. National mission on enhanced energy efficiency. Listen this one. What is the biggest problem in India regarding the energy production and utilization is energy wastage. We are not using the energy at optimum level. We are producing, definitely we are producing on par with the developed countries, but whatever the utility, a very very great utility that is being done by the developed countries, we are wasting the resources. The production is almost all equal, but how we are utilizing the energy wastage is there on large scale. Means what? Suppose a mission is working for 10 hours with the help of 1 megawatt of energy. 1 megawatt of energy, with the help of 1 megawatt of energy, if a mission is working for 1 hour in the developed country, with the same 1 megawatt of energy, our missionaries are capable of working only for 35 or 40 minutes. Means what happened? The efficiency is less. Is the power that is produced is weak or what? No, it is because of the use of obsolete technology in the manufacturing industry, and for what purpose the electricity is utilized. Due to this one, the energy use efficiency has reduced. Like I will give you best example. Right now you people are the younger generation, you are seeing what is called as LED bulbs. You are seeing the LED bulbs. Now you won't be finding a 60 watts filament bulb. There is a bulb called as 60 watts filament bulb, like where it will be having two things like this, where a filament will be there like this. You will not be finding right now. It will be giving the yellow color light. It will be giving the yellow color light. We in our childhood days, whenever we want to see the light, tube light is a big thing. Tube light will be there only in such important rooms. In all other rooms, only 60 watts bulb will be there. Why? Because 60 watts bulb is the one which is cheap, where the folders are cheap. At that point of time, they will be having a folder, not a tube light. For the tube light setup, it requires more investment. Therefore, the people will not be opting for tube lights, but for only 60 watts bulb. But the problem here with the 60 watts bulb, what 10 LED bulbs consumes the energy, 160 watts bulb will be consuming the energy. Is it giving more lighting than that of the LED? No, again. That is the efficiency. The efficiency is very, very less. Clear? This is what the biggest problem. Therefore, the government of India, when in the year 2008, identified that energy use efficiency is not happening on a proper scale, and asked all the state governments to implement what is called as the phasing out of 60 watts bulb, introduction of LED bulbs. When all the governments has distributed the LED bulbs at free of cost, because we people in India, especially rural India and the semi-urban areas, these people, whenever you are asked, if at all you go for changing of LED bulbs, no person will be paying attention, no person will be paying heed for that one. Provided if something is given at free of cost, then the people will be accepting. This is what the scenario, whether you believe that or not, this is what is happening. When the government asked the people to go for voluntarily removal of the LED bulb, 60 watts bulb, to go for purchasing of LED bulbs, no one, for a period of almost 1 year, no one has accepted, no one has changed. Only a few people here and there, they purchased the LED bulb. Then the government, this is a very great case study in the case of Tamil Nadu. In the case of Tamil Nadu, what happened? Jayalalitha government, during the election time period, what she has did, she distributed LED bulbs at free of cost and asked all the households to replace this very LED bulbs with wherever the yellow color bulbs are there, you need to remove that one, you need to go for LED bulbs. When the entire Tamil Nadu state was replaced with LED bulbs, what happened? The consumption of the power, forget about the production of the electricity, the consumption of the electricity has taken place. There was a very great consumption, very great surplus energy was there in the state of Tamil Nadu. This is what the result of this one. By seeing this as a Tamil Nadu experiment, all the states started implementing the same concept. This is what the energy enhanced efficiency, right? This is a story behind this one. Now, there is an organization called as Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Under this mission, Bureau of Energy and Efficiency, Under this mission, Bureau of Energy Efficiency came into picture, where the new bureau was established and it started giving the star rating performance. Star rating performance was given. What do you mean by star rating performance? Right now, all the electrical appliances, basically those consumer durables like ACs, refrigerators, ovens, and even some of the what you call as washing machines, what is given? The star ratings are given. It's not washing machine, only what is called as ACs. You can find the refrigerators and TVs. These are the electrical appliances where the star ratings, 5 star, 3 star, you can see even in your home. Whenever you are seeing in the home, your AC will be having 3 star, 5 star, or the refrigerator will be having 5 star. What is the 5 star? What is the 3 star? It is nothing but more utility of the electricity with less consumption of electricity. This is called as a star rating. This has introduced, this one in the star rating was introduced only with this mission. When 2008. There are certain what is called as appliances where they need to compulsory go for star rating. The appliances like ACs, fluorescent lamps, distribution transformers, air conditioners, refrigerators, color TVs, geysers, inverters and LED lamps. Come on, write down some of the things. Air conditions, refrigerators, frost-free refrigerators, okay, frost-free refrigerator, then fluorescent lamps, distribution transformers, then ACs, color TVs, electric geysers, inverters and LED lamps. These appliances are mandated. Definitely they have to follow the star rating. There are certain other electrical appliances where they are voluntarily, whether they can go for rating or not, that is voluntarily. Just like in the agreement like Paris Agreement, voluntary commitments are there. Likewise, you can go for voluntary. When this was made mandatory after 2019, means what? Again, this is in the latest news. The instruments like, the equipments like washing machines, some of the companies they are going voluntarily. If at all they are not going voluntarily, no one is going to ask you why you have not gone for star rating. No one is going to ask. But whatever I have dictated right now, if these instruments or these machines are not going for star rating, they will be penalized. Is it okay? They have to have the rating, star rating, as a mandatory condition. Whereas other appliances like the washing machines, ceiling fans, agricultural pumps, then I can find the other things like diesel generators. No need to go for star rating. If some of the manufacturers they are going for star rating, it is up to their wish. Is it okay? This is called as a voluntary and these are mandatory. This is the first and very important BEE norms. What do you mean by BEE norms? Nothing but Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Bureau of Energy Efficiency under the Ministry of Power has created, this was created as a bureau in the year 2002. This machinery was there in the year 2002 and they started going for star rating. The next one, after this one, the next very important within the energy efficiency, the introduction of the scheme called as very important scheme. The introduction of a scheme called as PAT scheme. What is this PAT scheme? Pay attention, very important. What is this PAT scheme? The government of India has introduced this scheme under National Mission on Energy Efficiency, right? Enhanced Energy Efficiency. The name of the scheme is called as PAT scheme, PAT scheme. Nothing but perform achieve and trade scheme. Very important. What is this PAT scheme? Is nothing but perform, achieve and trade scheme. Listen this one. What do you mean by perform? What do you mean by achieve? What is trade scheme? Now say for example there is a industry like let me give the examples like there is iron and steel industry. This is one industry. This is the thermal power industry. Thermal power industry, and there is another industry like cement industry. Okay, let me take the example of three industries. Now these three industries are utilizing the energy like 1000 megawatts. This is 2000 megawatts and this is 800 megawatts per annum. Okay, yearly how much of energy is consumed by the cement industry? 800 megawatts. How much of energy is utilized by the thermal power plant? 2000 megawatts. How much is utilized? It is 1000 megawatts. Now under PAT scheme, a cap is given for all these industries. What do you mean by cap? Just like Kyoto Protocol has asked the world countries to go for certain emission caps. On the same lines, now PAT scheme has gone for asking this iron and steel industry, you fellow, you are utilizing 1000 megawatts of energy, let us not use 1000 megawatts of energy. This year you use only 800 megawatts of energy. Therefore, what is the burden? They need to reduce 200 megawatts of energy. They need to reduce 200 megawatts of utility of energy, but the outcome should be one and the same. It should not affect the productivity. If at all the PAT scheme is asking to use only 800 megawatts of energy, means what? Shut down the industry after utilizing the 800 units or what? No. You need to perform the same performance, but the energy efficiency should be less. Means what? The energy consumed should be less. Means what? For this 200, you need to use non-fossil. This is all the fossil fuel. It is based upon the fossil fuel. All right now they are using based upon the fossil fuel. But now they can utilize this 200 units of energy by performing or by establishing such a machinery where they can use the energy, this 200 also non-fossil fuel. Non-fossil fuel energy should be mixed here. What was the mix? Earlier 100% fossil fuel, now the fossil fuel should be only 800. In this case 200 can be non-fossil fuel. This is what the condition given by PAT. For this, say for example, if it is given only 1500 megawatts, what is the burden? 500 megawatts of burden is there. If it is given only 500 megawatts, then it is having the burden 300 megawatts. Right? Is it okay? Now, what this thermal plant has did, when this perform, achieve and trade scheme was introduced, the targets were given for each and every industry. Now this power industry, thermal power industry, feel like, no, I am polluting a lot of air and water, everything is been polluted. Let us install or let us use the fuel. Right now I am using the fuel called as diesel. By using the diesel I am producing 200, I am producing something, and I am consuming 2000 megawatts of energy by producing the diesel. Means what? By using the diesel. Let us change the fuel. Now this fellow started replacing the diesel engines and gone for solar power. He has gone for complete rehauling of the industrial infrastructure, and he has removed all the diesel engines and installed solar engines for producing the electricity. By utilizing the solar energy, now he is not consuming the fossil fuel at all. Until now he was burning diesel to a tune of 2000 megawatts of energy. But right now he has shifted completely from diesel engine to solar power. He brought the solar power and he has introduced the solar power in the industry and is producing the same amount of energy. He is not consuming any fossil fuel. Now this is being reduced. Clear? What was the burden? The burden was 500 megawatts. Now instead of 500 megawatts, this fellow has saved how much? Saved how much? 2000 megawatts of energy he has saved. He has completely shifted from diesel to solar power. So he has saved how much? Total consumption. What was the total consumption? He was consuming 2000 megawatts of energy, but right now he is consuming completely the solar energy, not the fossil energy. He has saved this much of fossil fuel. When he has saved this much of fossil fuel, as he has performed, not only performed, now he has achieved. How much he has achieved? This is what the achievement he has done. This achievement can be rewarded. How he can reward? He can sell this particular 2000 energy in the form of certificates. To whoever they are in need. Now say for example this cement industry, it could not save 300. It is in want of 300 units of, therefore it will be using the same very old coal or maybe diesel or some other. It will be consuming this one, but it will be purchasing 300 certificates. It will be purchasing 300 certificates. Why? Because it couldn't perform. As it couldn't be performed, now it has to purchase this amount equivalent, because this is the cap, this is the punishment, this is the burden. This burden it cannot achieve. When it can't achieve, it has to pay this amount to whoever has performed. Therefore, the thermal power company will be getting something in the form of cash. These certificates is called as assets. Just like in the case of Kyoto Protocol, how the Kyoto Protocol has given the burden on the developed countries, on the same lines, the government of India has kept the cap on high energy intensive companies, who whatever the industry which is consuming more and more energy, for those industries the cap was being kept. When the cap was kept, if any company is reaching the target, they can sell the extra certificates to other companies which are in want of those certificates. These certificates are called as exits. This is a sort of encouragement and the competition between the companies, so that the companies can shed the fossil fuels and can come to the non-conventional fuels. This is what called as assets. Is it clear? This is what called as the PAT scheme. The third one, come on, give the third one. The third very important scheme called as National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Habitat, what is habitat? The place of living. Now, the place of living should be sustainable. This is what a very, very important scheme. What is the important scheme? The construction of building with such a material which is not degrading the environment. Like what happened in all the entire the corporate world, the buildings are not constructed more with the cement, but with the glass is being laid. Most of the buildings, suppose if this is the building is having all the glasses like this. What is this glass? This glass is such a glass which can allow the light, which can allow the sunlight where the light is allowed but not the temperature. The temperature, the heat will be reflected back, but the light will be allowed. When the heat of the light is being reflected, now the AC, the electrical appliance like AC that is performing will with less energy, it will be cooling the room easily. Means what? Construction of all the buildings, because the urban areas are considered to be the concrete jungles where the cement will be absorbing more and more heat, and therefore you can find the urban heat island. You will be finding what is called as urban heat islands. In order to stop these urban areas to be performing as a heat islands, what do you mean by urban heat island? Suppose if this is the urban area, if this is the rural area, if at all you are seeing the heat that will be present here will be like this. The heat that is released here again will be sent back more absorption because of more and more concrete that is present there. Therefore, the heat that will be absorbed will not be released back. But whereas here, whatever the heat is absorbed is released back easily. But here, you won't be releasing. And therefore, these are acting as the islands within the rural areas. Around the rural areas, one urban center is acting as a heat island. In order to avoid such urban heat islands, now the sustainable habitat concept was brought. Using such a material for the construction of the building which is a sustainable, like the projects like, what are the schemes? Don't simply write the name of the scheme. You need to talk about even the programs that are introduced. Like the program like Griha. The government of India has introduced a program called as Griha. The concept like Amrut, Atal on behalf of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the project like Amrut was there, like the smart cities concept. Smart cities were introduced. The project like Griha, Amrut, smart cities, like even the urban transport programs, all they are in the sustainable habitat. All they are under sustainable habitat. We have completed the 3 national programs, remaining are the 5, along with one additional new program was there. This will be completed tomorrow, and then we will be jumping into the very, very important concept called as geoengineering. The concept called as geoengineering. After geoengineering, we will be entering into pollution. After geoengineering, we will be entering the last module called as pollution module. Right? In the pollution is a small topic where we will be completing this topic, and then we will go to the other one, last one, this is EIA. Within another one, this is one class, 2, 3, another 3 classes will be completing. Within coming 3 classes, we will be completing 3 classes. This is Thursday. What is the day today? Is it Monday or Tuesday? It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Within another 2 classes will be completing, not 3 classes. Within another 2 classes will be completing. These 2 are the smaller concepts. We will be completing within no time. See here, there are 3 another missions. We will be discussing 3 missions. Then we will be going to the geoengineering techniques. I will be giving all the geoengineering techniques along with the notes. You can write the notes. Then we will enter into the last very important module called as the pollution module. Pollution module is a smaller module, but I will be giving all the other things. Right? Within another coming 2 classes, we will be completing all these things. Right? Is it okay? Until then, take care. See you. Bye bye. Tomorrow at again 1:30. Most of you people feeling drowsy, that I can understand, but come on, jago, under 2 days. Just for 2 days, no? Come on, let us see, and we'll be completing all the things. Fine? Take care. See you then. Meet you tomorrow. Bye-bye.